Hi, I'm Jake,
I'm Marlin.
aka Gee, and today we're going to be reacting to somebody I haven't done a reaction video for in a while, the Blockbuster Buster, aka ERod. Haven't done reaction for him in a bit for many reasons, but one of them being I wanted to do some reactions to other people because I did a lot of him for a while. But I think enough time has passed, we can maybe do another one. And today we're going to be reacting to his more of a retrospective on the first Shrek movie. A film that we're both very familiar with and enjoy very much. And this year is 19 fucking years old. I'm starting to feel old. And we'll heads up before we jump in. This review is part of a mini storyline where he loses his character, the Blockbuster Buster, loses all memory of being the Blockbuster Buster. So, with the assistance of his side characters, also played by ERod, Eric Rodriguez, he tries to get his memory back by reviewing the Shrek franchise.
Okay.
And I think you might enjoy it. So, further ado,
Off and do.
let's watch. Different time.
Sir, are you unharmed?
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
Would you still like me to prepare the next Blockbuster Buster sequence?
Sure, that sounds good. Just one question. What the heck is a Blockbuster Buster? So, only the parts of my memory having to do with me being the Blockbuster Buster have been erased.
Yes, sir.
And this is what I do? I bitch about movies on the internet and people like that?
Yes, sir.
I seem to curse a lot.
Works for a lot of us.
Sir.
Okay, but how is it again that I can talk to Jarvis from Iron Man?
Being the Blockbuster Buster gives you the power to duplicate the extra normal abilities from the television shows and movies that you watch. Ergo, the ability to talk to me.
And I use these amazing powers to destroy DVDs? Seems like a waste.
Your world is already full of great heroes that fight for the freedoms that you enjoy. What your world lacks is someone to speak on the behalf of your disenfranchised brethren.
Fanboys. Got it. So, is my power unlimited? I mean, is there Blockbuster Buster kryptonite?
Namely, yes. If you go for too long without chastising bad films, your powers will go away, including your ability to communicate with me.
Damn. How the heck am I supposed to remember how to do this?
No worries, sir. I have called upon one of your cohorts to help you.
Greetings and salutations, Mr. E. I'm here to help reawaken the budding young film analyst inside of you. How? By going back to the first film franchise to ever let you down.
He likes the first one. Well, he's got the good fan art.
What am I supposed to do? Just talk about the movie, Mr. E. But what do I say? Say whatever comes to mind, that usually works. Okay, here it goes. Throughout the 90s, Disney ruled the world of animation with an iron fist. pushing the boundaries of the medium further and further until the early 2000s, when rivaling animation studio DreamWorks made the ultimate power play by releasing what was at the time deemed the anti-Disney film. You see, Disney has always been known for basing their films on popular fairy tales. DreamWorks' answer to this was Shrek, a film that flipped the world of fairy tales upside down, challenged all conventions, and blatantly and openly mocked Disney. A lot. Some said that these were the fairy tales of the modern age, and I loved it. While the humor was a bit vulgar, the fairy tale parodies were spot on, and the unconventional fairy tale format was refreshing and brilliant. The scary ogre was the hero, the stereotypical hero was a pompous ass, the princess didn't need saving, and the villain was, by all definitions, harmless. Shrek instantaneously
Well, he had
became one of my
guards to do his
all-time
bidding.
favorite films. What now? Come on now, break it down, Mr. E. Talk about the characters, the dialogue, the story, all the action sequences you love so much. Okay. Loosely based on the book by William Steig, Shrek takes place in a world where fairy tales are real. The evil Lord Farquaad desperately wants to create the perfect kingdom. A kingdom devoid of all fairy tale creatures, and anyone who is different in any way. The fairy tale creatures are rounded up and dumped in the swamp of an ogre named Shrek, which is German for terror. Wait, why did I just say that? It's one of them things you do, Mr. E. Now talk about the characters. Alright, whatever. Here's an interesting fact. Shrek was originally played by Chris Farley, who even recorded a lot of Shrek's lines. But after his untimely death, he was replaced by fellow SNL alumni Mike Myers. Chris Farley as Shrek. Man, I wonder what that would have been like.
Well, I'm here to tell you that you're probably going to find out as you go out there that you're not going to amount to jack squat.
The heck was that? That was a cutaway joke clip, Mr. E. Does that happen often? Darn tootin'. Right. Shrek is your average disenfranchised slob. He's funny, he's cranky, and tragically lonely. From the moment that you see him, you instantly relate to him. People bully him and judge him by the way that he looks, without taking a second to know him. That is, everyone except for Donkey, played by Eddie Murphy.
Listen, little donkey. Take a look at me. What am I? Really tall? No! I'm an ogre. You know, grab your torch and pitchforks. Doesn't that bother you? Nope. Really? Really?
At a quick glance, one would assume that Donkey is your average annoying Disney fairy tale sidekick. But the fact of the matter is that what makes Donkey work is that he is self-aware. He knows that he is the annoying comic relief sidekick.
Sorry, the position of annoying talking animal has already been taken. Let's go, Shrek!
He knows that his irritating personality drives people away. Hell, when we first meet him, his former owner is trying to sell him, but he also knows that he can't help being annoying and being an outcast, which is what leads him and Shrek to connect instantly. Not to mention that their chemistry is just perfect, making them a very effective comedy team.
I'm gonna die, Shrek, I'm gonna die! Oh!
That'll do, Donkey. That'll do.
Plus, to me, they are two of the very rare exceptions of characters that are voiced by celebrities that I don't hear the celebrities when they speak. I just hear the characters.
Alright, you're going the right way for a smack bottom.
So, after the fairy tale creatures are dumped off in Shrek's swamp, Shrek, who only wants to be left alone, goes on a quest to get Lord Farquaad to move the fairy tale creatures out of his swamp. Donkey tags along because, let's face it, he'd be dead without Shrek. To gain
And he
an
knows the
audience
way to
for
Lord Farquaad.
Shrek has to get past his knights, and he does so in the way in which all of life's problems should be solved, with a wrestling match. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the ultimate handicap match. We have Shrek versus the Knights of Farquaad. He opens with double clotheslines and follows it up with a head scissor takedown. Shrek is going to the top rope to perform what probably will be a high-risk maneuver. And he comes down with a big splash. Looks like he has his next opponent locked in a full Nelson. And he gets an assist from his man on the outside. A Tangana! And I would like to take this moment to remind you that Donkey is not legal. Fuels a fall Irish whip into a drop kick. Shrek is just dominating suplex into an ankle lock. maneuver, the Shrek Shredder. Boom! Right into the turnbuckle, put a fork in him, he is done!
Oh, yeah!
Thank you!
Real American
Thank you very much.
Hulk
My
Hogan's
pizza
theme.
birthday. Grand reveal.
The hell? Why did I just do all that? Don't fight those instincts, Mr. E. Just go with them. So Farquaad agrees to clear out all the fairy tale creatures from Shrek's swamp. If Shrek will rescue a princess from a dragon on Farquaad's behalf. That way, Farquaad can marry the princess and become unofficial king. Shrek agrees to do so, not just to get his swamp back, but to prove that ogres are not unreasonable monsters. And thus we meet Princess Fiona, played by Cameron Diaz. A princess who is cursed to be an ogre by night. She is a very tough and unconventional girl, who is desperately trying to fit into the predetermined template that her society has created for her. Something that young girls can automatically relate to.
The donkey. I'm a princess. And this is not how a princess is meant to look.
Fiona is self-reliant and outgoing. She is at the Dragon's Keep not because the dragon is keeping her there, but because she wants to be there. Because she thinks that this is the only way she's going to meet her Prince Charming. But instead, she meets Shrek. This, of course, leads to one of the best romantic stories I've ever seen. Both of these characters had completely different goals, and they ended up finding each other. And that's the way that real romance works. Real romance is unexpected, and you can never help who you fall in love with. Excuse me, Mr. E, we have to cut the commercial. Why? So you can afford to pay the rent at the end of the month. Oh, so I guess that means that it's really important that we let these commercials play.
Back when they were on Blip.
Was that it? Hey, that wasn't so bad. So what you're telling me is that all you have to do is sit through 30 to 60 seconds of commercials, and in return, you get a free entertaining video? Who would be inconsiderate, belligerent, and downright immature to complain about that? Rounding up our cast, we have
Joke of the
villain,
times.
Lord Farquaad, deliciously played by one of my all-time favorite actors,
Yep.
John Lithgow. He is such an unbelievable, egotistical douchebag with a major Napoleon complex, and I do mean major.
Do you think maybe he's compensating for something?
He is diminutive and opportunistic, but in no way a stereotypical villain. Shrek makes a deal with
Facebook.
him, and lo and behold, Farquaad keeps his word. At the same time, one has to appreciate the irony that Farquaad's laziness and cowardice pretty much leads to his undoing. To avoid the dangers and the hard work of facing the dragon that is guarding Fiona, he sends Shrek instead, who of course is the cause of the end of Farquaad's rule and the liberation of the fairy tale creatures. What now? Come on, Mr. Reed, tell us about your favorite scene. Lay it on us. Oh, all right, sure. My favorite scene is the escape from the Dragon's Keep. The battle against the Maleficent Dragon and Sleeping Beauty was pretty good, but this is awesome to the extreme. Hell, this sequence literally tells Disney to kiss its ass. Great escalation, leading up to a beautiful crescendo, peppered with quaint little gags here and there, setting a new standard for action sequences in the world of animation, all of which is topped off with a nice subtle Indiana Jones reference at the end.
Temple of Doom!
I'm starting to like those cutaway clips. Mr. Reed, do you have a favorite line? I don't know. There's quite a few good ones in this movie.
Sure, it's big enough, but look at the location.
It's gonna be fun. We can stay up late, swapping manly stories, and in the morning, I'm making waffles.
Well, technically you're not a king.
Thelonious, you were saying?
What I mean is, you're not a king yet.
But if I had to pick a favorite, I'd go with...
You there, Olga.
Aye.
By the order of Lord Farquaad, I am authorized to place you both under arrest and transport you to a designated resettlement facility.
Oh, really? You you in what army?
Interesting fact. The head guard in that scene is played by my favorite voiceover actor, Jim Cummings, who is best known for voicing a lot of the Disney characters.
Winnie the Pooh.
And personally, I also thought that this was another big fuck you to Disney. I mean, think about it. They casted Disney's go-to guy in a bit role. If you ask me, it's a bit suspect. All in all, Shrek was a masterpiece in its own right. The unorthodox fairy tale. The anti-Disney movie. A film that I hold dear to my heart. You look sad, Mr. E. How comes it? It's just that my love for Shrek and DreamWorks pretty much ended with this movie. Then we moved into that stupid DreamWorks era of movies that were big on gags and low on plot. What movie do you feel started this trend, Mr. E? Only one of the most successful animated films of all time. Shrek 2.
Come on, y'all! Get up the hook, baby!
This is the best.
It's a good song. Gotta keep the volume low because content ID.
It's a great song. And there's
And-
the best,
And Eddie Murphy gives a good rendition of
well,
it.
there's the animation, and then as it cuts through, then all of a sudden Eddie Murphy takes the mic. A lot of fun.
And of course, at the end of most of the Blockbuster Busters videos, there's a little note at the end. It'll come up in a second, but I like his retrospective on the Shrek movies. Here it is, dedicated to the cast and crew of the first Shrek for busting their collective asses for 5 years to produce such a magnificent film.
5 years. Wow.
Back in the day, I think it's for some CGI movies today,
Mm-hmm.
the average amount of time to edit one of these was 4, maybe more years.
Brutal. That's brutal.
Yeah.
I can't breathe.
So, what did you think of the Blockbuster Busters amnesia-based retrospective on the first Shrek?
It was a little bit of a struggle going with it, coming out of nowhere to me, because I hadn't seen the build-up and all that kind of thing. But he handled it well. He dipped in, used a side character, and
Yeah.
they went with it.
It was a fun getting back into the swing of things and having him react to, wait, this is what I do? Does that happen often?
Yeah.
They didn't overplay that, I feel, and I think it was a good running gag.
Well, I think it was better the way they did it than if they'd have just depended on, I can't remember the name of the voice that he uses all the time.
Jarvis?
Jarvis. If it just had been just Jarvis, like it was in the beginning, and then it would be just the voice, it was more effective having another person,
Yeah.
himself, do the help outs.
ERod doesn't have a lot of money, so he has to make do, often casting himself in supporting roles.
He's very creative with little money. In
Yeah.
many ways. And this is just one example.
And Linkara does the same thing for his show when he has supporting characters. And ERod had 3 for many years. This is one of them. This character's name is Fedora Freddy. He's like a movie executive, parody of people that go with whatever is most profitable over what is most creative.
Of course.
He's my least favorite of ERod's supporting characters, but here I thought he worked fine.
Yeah, he did it well, yes.
Shrek, it's a funny film and is surprisingly more mature in some areas than you would expect, which is kind of what made it great.
It's something for the parents.
Yeah, it had some good edgy humor, and my favorite, like he talked about his favorite moments. Most of my favorites are all around Lord Farquaad, the villain, just because he's such a funny, pompous sack of shit. My favorite moments is when it's revealed to everyone that Fiona turns into an ogre, and well, Shrek's like, well, that explains a lot. Farquaad's like, ugh, it's disgusting! And when the guards are all dogpiling at Shrek, they're doing that action movie cliche where only a few of them go at him at once, while most of them just stand on the side. And while you think they're gonna do that cliche, you hear Farquaad. You blink and you'll not hear it. You hear Farquaad yells, "Don't just stand there, you morons!"
Join the fray. Join the fray. Yes.
And his talk about how DreamWorks was the rival animation studio. I think the jerk with a camera did a better job establishing just how far the rivalry went, but DreamWorks was created to kind of be a rival to Disney, had the animated box office, and while they struggled a little in the beginning, films like Shrek and a few others really made them a success.
Yes, I think it's like things that are, if you're dominated, you have a monopoly on something, you're not as good as when you're in a competition. So, after DreamWorks, animation got better for everybody.
For a while. Their last couple of films have not gotten the best reviews. And this review by ERod came out in 2013. That's 7 years ago. I said it's crazy how much time it's gone since Shrek, but just for like the internet videos, it's also crazy.
Yes, yes indeed, yes indeed. The ERod always has put a lot of himself and a lot of planning into each of his presentations. As I said before, but I'll say it again, he does a great deal with very little as far as...
He's very creative, and a lot of what he does you can respect on a technical level. And the part where he talks about Jim Cummings' cameo as the guard, that was fun, and I know that he's got a lot of love for Jim Cummings, and he's best known as voice of Winnie the Pooh and Darkwing Duck, and as I've told you a few times, finishing what Jeremy Irons couldn't sing for Be Prepared.
That's right. It was all of a sudden he lost what voice he had, and
and lastly,
and you can't tell the difference.
And the part where they do the commercial run, where he says we gotta cut the commercial, then cut back, and he does that thing. That was the only part of the review I was like, I'm not sure that was necessary, or if he was gonna do it, he could have been a little less on the nose about it. Because around that time, if I remember right, Louis Lovehog, Linkara, Atop the Fourth Wall, did a video where he asked people not to use ad blockers, saying that ads are what help them make money. So he did a video called Please Let the Ads Play, and while he was a little condescending in the video, it got a lot of backlash, more than I don't think it was really deserved of that much. So I feel like this was maybe ERod helping support the idea of letting the commercials play.
Yeah. But of course, internet viewers are always so well-mannered and thoughtful of others anyway, so we're not surprised about the outcome.
Back in the days where they were on Blip TV, a website that hasn't been around for 5 years, and now they just gotta rely on Patreon. Last thing I'll say before we give our final thoughts is the part where he talks about Chris Farley being the original voice of Shrek.
Interesting.
They've never released the audio, like in the whole audio, but there is a video showing a snippet of Chris Farley's voice acting, and they have like storyboard drawings to go with it.
Oh, okay.
And what they showed was Chris Farley. He had a few similar. Some of the lines were the same, but some were different. And his reading of Shrek was surprisingly more dramatic than Mike Myers.
Really?
Yeah, like his version of Shrek carried a bit more of you could feel a bit more of the sadness in it.
More of the downtroddenness kind of thing, or
Yeah.
huh?
Like I know Shrek by Mike had some depressing moments, but it feels like Farley's version you could really feel the sadness more.
And maybe he did.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy, they had his dialogue in there as well. And it would have been interesting to see them work off each other.
Yes, that would have been very good. But I don't know how voice actors act. If they do it together, or if the one
They mostly do it by themselves, because if they're talking over each other, it can mess up the audio, the recording, make editing probably a nightmare.
Yeah.
And Cameron Diaz, she's a lot of fun as Fiona. Starts out like right away she's not what you'd expect, and then she's revealed to be so much more as the film goes on.
Yep, good character.
And the part where she knocks out Robin Hood as he's singing, going, "Man, that was annoying." Good stuff. Great satire of fairy tales and Disney, and good video. And maybe someday we'll get to the Shrek 2 review.
Maybe someday.
You had a good time?
Oh, yes. I like Shrek. A lot of fun to see it every once in a while. And too bad we couldn't put the sound up and listen to and watch the video portion of the final I'm a Believer.
Well, you didn't show the video, but it was there a little. And hope you enjoyed our reaction. If you want to see more, check out more videos on the channel. And if you like what you see, subscribe. We will hopefully see you again soon.
Soon.